Hello chess friends and welcome to Zarov's chess channel and welcome to my Basics in Chess series. So in this series we see opening principles, middle game strategy and middle game planning, and of course the end game strategy. So today I wanted to talk about some middle games again, and I wanted to talk about the bishop pair in a middle game. So you know the bishops are really working fine together because they're occupying of course all of these light squares, all of these dark squares, and when you put them on very nice diagonals the bishop pair is really deadly. So you see, you shouldn't give up your bishop pair in an early stage of the game. When you're giving up your bishop pair, be sure that you can close the positions, because we all know, as I said, when you to create these favorable trades of pieces, you know that in open positions bishops are better, in closed positions the knights are better. So when you're trading off your pieces, be sure that when you leave your opponent with the bishop pair, that you get at least a closed position, and at least you get some weaknesses, maybe a double pawn and similar ideas. So today I wanted to show you some examples why you shouldn't give up your bishop pair early in the stage of the game, and some examples how the bishops are really working fine together. And this is really an introduction video to my bishop pair series, because it will be sort of, as I said, a mini series in which I'll show you the opportunities for your opponent to play against your bishop pair, and what you should avoid while having the bishop pair for yourself. So let's see now the first example. It was a game by Mikhail Tal and Lajos Portic. Mikhail Tal here with the white pieces, and Lajos Portic gave up his bishop pair really in an early stage of the game, and he gets punished because while doing that. And you don't do such things against Mikhail Tal, I think, because he was using his bishops always so very effectively. So here Mikhail Tal played e4. We have c6, knight on c3, sort of an Caro-Kann defense, d5, knight on f3, and here d takes e4, knight takes e4, and now bishop on g4. Here we have h6, and now bishop takes on f3, queen takes on f3. So you see, black gave up his bishop pair, but he did it really in an early stage of the game, and here he didn't secure a close position. As I said, the knights are better in close positions. Here we cannot talk about a close position because we have many pawns to move here in the center, so we can create an open positions for our bishops. So here Lajos Portic was really punished while leaving his opponent with his bishop pair. So here knight from b to d7, we have here d4, knight from g to f6, bishop on d3, knight takes on e4, queen takes on e4, and you see this bishop and the queen are really now building a very nice battery combined with this bishop. I hope you realize that really white has here a better position. So here e6 was played, castling. Now we have bishop on e7, c3, knight on f6. We have here queen on h4, knight on d5, and now queen on g4. We have here bishop on f6, and now rook on e1, and queen on b6. And you see now black's problems. The bishops are really aiming here on the king. The queen has also very nice activity, and the rook is very on this dangerous file here on the e file. So here Tal plays c4. We have here knight on b4, and now very strong tactical motif. Rook takes on e6. We have f takes on e6. Queen takes on e6. Now king on f8. Now bishop on f4, with the threat of course to play bishop on d6. So we have here rook on d8, and now c5 with an attack on the queen. Knight takes on d3, and here we have c takes b6. Now we have knight takes on f4, and now queen on g4 with an attack on the knight. Knight on d5, and now we have b takes a7. And okay, the black tried to continue in this game, but Tal of course won this game because it was hard for black to connect its rooks. So you see, Black was really got really punished because he gave up his bishop pair really in an early stage of the game, and you don't do such things, of course, against the legendary magician from Riga, Mikhail Tal. So here I wanted to also show you again this game. I explained this game in my best chess games of all time series, but again with the same motif. Here it was a game between Paul Murphy against Duke Carl and Count Itzuard. It's the so-called Night at the Opera. It's a famous game. So here, after knight on f3, we have d6, d4, and now bishop on g4, d takes e5. We have here bishop on f3. Again, black is giving up his bishop pair in an early stage of the game. Queen takes on f3, and now d takes e5, and probably black thought here, okay, now I have created a symmetrical position. The position can get close, but that's really not so, because you see now the bishops are really perfectly fine here in this position. Bishop on c4, of course, on the best active square here. Knight on f6, and now queen on b3. Queen on e7 with the protection of this f7 pawn. Knight on c3. We have here c6, and now bishop on g5. I hope you realized that this is now a really dynamic position, because these bishops are really aiming here. And now black made a mistake. He played the move b5, and now knight takes on b5, c takes b5, bishop takes on b5. And look at these bishops, they are really aiming on these two very powerful diagonals. So here knight from b to d7 was played, and now castling. Rook on d8. Here we have rook takes on d7, rook takes on d7. Now again with the pin here, rook on d1, queen on e6, and now bishop takes on d7, knight takes on d7, and now very nice move, queen on b8, knight takes on b8, and here checkmate on d8. So again, black got punished here because he lost the bishop pair in an early stage of the game. As I said, if you want to get rid of the bishop, if you want to trade off maybe your bishop in an early stage of the game, you have to be sure that you can create a close position. You see in these two examples, black didn't manage to do that, and he gets punished, of course. So let's see now. I hope we solve this problem. As I said, don't do that. Don't give up your bishop pair in an early stage of the game. I'm repeating myself, and sometimes I bore myself, but really, I really wanted to settle for you, because you can make these mistakes very often in openings, and I don't want you to do that. So here I wanted to show now really in the middle game how powerful the bishops can be. And here is a game. It was played between the former world champion Vishwanathan Anand against Felix Ijeta Chabari, and here you see black attacked Anand's here rook on d1, but you see Anand didn't care for this attack on the rook, because he realized he has the power of the two bishops. The bishops are aiming here on the king. And the other thing that I wanted to notice, we have here this mobile pawn structure, and the bishops really love this mobile and dynamic pawn structure, because we can move here the pawns here on f5, f6, maybe on g6, and somehow open the f and g file, and then after that with the rook play here on the g file. And this really, these two bishops aiming here on the king are really deadly, of course, combined with the queen and with this knight. This is really a deadly attack. And of course Anand didn't react on this attack on the rook on d1, and simply played forward and tried to get use of the bishop here. So here we have f5, bishop takes on d1, knight takes on d1. Now bishop on d6. Now we have queen on h4, and you see now the threats are here, maybe f6, and then with an attack here on h7. So here knight on e8 was played, bishop on d4. Here we have queen on c7, and now f6, g takes f6, g takes f6, and now of course we are again aiming here on this h7 pawn. So that's why black tried to defend with the rook here, of course, the h7 pawn. So we have here rook on g1, trying this discovered attack on the king, of course, on the g file. Now we have king on h8, and now bishop on h7, bishop sacrifice. Now of course rook takes on h7, and now very strong move, f7, with the discovered check by this bishop on d4. Now, of course, black has to react. He played knight on g7, and now we have bishop takes on g7, and in this position black resigned because we have a forced checkmate. After king takes on g7, we have knight on f5 with this double check. King takes on f7, queen takes on h7, king on e6, knight on d4, king on f6, now queen on g6, king on e7, queen on e6, king on d8, and now rook on g8, bishop on f8, and of course rook takes on f8. It's checkmate. So let's see now another example, and again we want to create here a mobile pawn structure, and this is now a game between Peter Swidler against Garry Kasparov. You see, Garry Kasparov has of course problem with his d6 pawn. White created this battery on the d file combined with this bishop. Garry Kasparov has this weak pawn on d6, and he wants to improve it. But probably what maybe Peter Swidler thought here after the move d5, which was played in the game, and after e5, then after the knight on e4 that Kasparov played, of course, and knight takes on e4, we have d takes on e4. That well, after a trade of queens, that the black will continue the game with this weak pawn. But you see, when we're playing with this bishop, as I said, we want to create these dynamic positions. We want the position to get opened, and with this even sacrificing a pawn here on e4, Garry Kasparov manages to do that, and he will show here in this game this very, very effective bishop by him. So here bishop on e8 was played, c3. Rook on c8, king on c2, and now b5. Of course, tried to get use of this pin here on the c file. So here rook takes on e4, and now b4. Rook on e3, a5, knight on e2, and now bishop on c6. Now white has these problems when he puts his pawns on the light squares. Of course, they're an object of the bishop on the light squares, and if he puts his pawn on the dark squares, well, of course, black can attack the bishop with the dark the pawns with the dark square bishop. So that's the problem always in this position with his pawns. So here, of course, f3 was played. Now we have a trade of rooks here on d1. Now bishop on c5, bishop rook on d3, bishop on b5, and now the rook becomes really an object of black's attack. We have here rook on d1, bishop on e3, rook on d6. Now we have b takes c3, knight takes on c3, and now bishop on f1. Now it's not possible for white to defend here this g2 pawn, and you see now this problem by white. He doesn't have any counterplay here. He has to play like Garry Kasparov wants here in this position. Here we have bishop on h4. Now we have g5, kicking away the bishop. Bishop on e1, bishop on g2, king on e2, and now bishop on f4, attacking also this other weak pawn. So of course bishop on g3 was played. Now we have bishop on c1, attacking now this pawn. Here we have knight on a4, now h5, rook on d1, and now h4. Bishop on e1, bishop on f4, bishop on c3, and now you see black can also take this pawn, but he first improved the position of the king here. Knight on b6, we have rook on h8, king on f2, h3, bishop on d2, and now bishop takes on h2. I hope you realize that this is completely winning here for black. Here we have knight on d7, king on g6, bishop on e3, and now very strong move g4. F takes g4, and now bishop on c6. In this position Peter Swidler resigned because he has to go somewhere with this knight, maybe here on c5, and of course then after that Garry Kasparov can take here the pawn on e5 and simply push the pawn here to promotion. So I hope you realize this power of the bishop pair. As I said, don't trade off your bishop in an early stage of the game for a knight. If you're not sure that you can close the position, and again I'm repeating, when you're searching for these favorable trades of pieces, keep in mind that in close positions, of course, the knights are better, and in the open positions, the bishops are better. And you should know if the position can get closed, or if the position can get maybe open. So if the position can get open somehow, don't get rid of your bishop for the knight. So in the continuation of this mini series of this bishop pair, we will see what are your opponent's ideas how to play against your bishop pair, and what you shouldn't do while having a bishop pair, because you want to get use of a bishop pair. So I hope you enjoyed also this video. You can also watch my other basics in chess videos with its opening principles, middle game strategies, and of course the endgame strategy. And you can also watch my King's Indian series if you have troubles while playing against d4. And you can also subscribe to my channel. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.